What's up, guys? Welcome back. Today we're going to continue talking about the callbacks and make them a little bit more dynamic. Last time on this tutorial. Okay, so we set a node, right? And we define the location of that node as just simply static. It was stuck in one location, 1, 3, 4. So how can we make that a little more dynamic? If you don't understand what I'm talking about, let me explain. So what we want to do is we want to take the position. If you notice here, right, we're working on a function, and functions you can pass information into and send information out. In this case, I want to direct your attention to the information being passed in. That is located within the parentheses, and in this case, we see POS. And you can, of course, look in the Lua API for more details on what each of these values being passed into the functions or the callbacks, because it varies what each of these are and what they hold. But in this case, it's fairly self-explanatory. This is a position. And what position? The position that the node is being placed at. So when you place that node, it has a certain coordinate, an X, a Y, and a Z. Quick little note on that. Y is up. X and Z are horizontal. And you can kind of tell this by getting in the game, and the HUD will show a little coordinate or like a direction that you're looking. So it'll say X plus or X minus and Z plus and Z minus. That tells you whether you're looking forward or backwards. And so then, therefore, it makes sense that Y would be up. All right. So that's just the way that they've set their coordinates. All right. So we have some information to work with. We have a position, the position of the block. Well, it would be kind of fun to place this block of messe with respect to the node that we are placing. And this is going to be very important later on. So how do we do that? Well, what we're going to do is I'm going to introduce you to something called a library. This was and is defined in the engine, of the Minetest engine. And it allows you, it simplifies tasks. That's what a library does. It simplifies tasks by providing you with functions. The functions have been written out, lots and lots of code. They're solid. You don't have to worry about errors and whatnot. There's a lot of reasons why libraries are very useful. Oftentimes, you might find yourself gravitating to writing your own code, because it can be a little bit intimidating to figure out what libraries you can use and then what functions are available. But I'll get you started with this one, and this is called the vector library. But before we use this vector library, and I don't know before we use it, we need to define kind of a location or a position that we are going to add, that we're going to use later. So let's just define that. So and we need to start that definition with local. You have to use this so that Minetest doesn't complain at you. So local, we're going to say position 1 equals, and then what I'm going to go ahead and recommend you do is just copy this position. We're going to select that text, press Control X, which is going to cut it, and then Control V to paste, or right click and paste. And there we have a position. Now, don't run your code yet. It will fail. What did I do? Okay, that's what I intended to do, just downspace, or, return. So now we have a position. Now, what if we wanted to take our current location and then add that much onto the x? Like we add 1 onto the x, add 1 on the 3 onto the y, add 4 onto the z. What if we wanted to add those numbers to our existing location, which would basically offset the node by whatever we specified there? Well, we can do it by simply pulling out each of the x portion of our position, adding to it. But there's a more slick way of doing this. And like you've probably already guessed, it's using the library, a certain library called the vector library. So we're going to start by defining a second position. And then after this, we're going to write vector. Hit the period. That brings up all of the available functions in the vector library. And we can do all kinds of stuff here. Of course, a lot of these are probably going to get us into trouble. But we're just going to start with the add. So vector.add. And here you see that there's some placeholders, v and x. V would be a vector. More specifically, this would be your position, or the position of the block. So we're going to write POS here, and then here in the x, this is what it's going to add on to the original vector, which will be position 1. And now what we have is we have original location with a certain amount added on, resulting in a new location, which is offset. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. Now we have to specify in our set node position 2, and there you have it. We have position 2 illuminated, indicating that we are using the variable, and everything should be set correctly. So we're going to save that. Then we're going to go over to Minetest and try it out. So I'm going to be sure to exit and re-enter so that it loads the new code that you've just written. Okay. Now if we place our block, just like expected, it will add a messy block with respect to the original one. Very nice. So that's all I want you to do. Just basically copy what I've done. Change up this position, maybe. Do some interesting things. I don't know. Just, yeah, play around with that concept. Thanks for watching, guys.